Hi everyone, my name is Callie Goode. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Hope, Hug, and Happiness podcast, where uh, we're going to feature entrepreneurs doing big things in the world, and most importantly, adding positivity, love, and light to everyone that they reach, whether that be in person or um, online. So with that, I would like to welcome you and thank you so much for finding my channel. If you're new here, make sure that you look down in the description box below the video and look for any links or bios of the people that I interview or the products that they may sell. So just to give that disclaimer, and then also I would like to share a little of my story. So like I said before, my name is Callie. I'm 34 years old. I currently reside in Southwest Colorado. I am an incomplete quadriplegic with cerebral palsy. I cannot move or walk at all on my own. And I'll share a little bit of my story. So when I was 19 years old, I hit a wall in my life, and I didn't know why I was here or what God put me here for, or like I had just lost all emotional, mental, and spiritual ability to fight against the life that I was given, and I felt like I had no purpose. And at my lowest point, I actually turned to my best friend and told him that I felt so hopeless and alone and in this dark hole. And he was completely shocked by my words and completely mortified that I felt in such a depraved state. But I just had to turn to someone, and I couldn't turn to my parents because they're the most lovely parents on the planet. Anyone who meets them is in awe of the love and devotion and dedication that they have given me my entire life. And so I couldn't tell my parents because I thought, oh my, how would I feel if I was their, if I was in their shoes and they had a kid like me, and that kid came to me and said, hey mom, I don't feel good about myself, I'm very unhappy, how would that make me feel about me? And I couldn't, as good as they are to me and still are to this very day, I couldn't bear the responsibility of hurting them. So I turned to my best friend and I told him how I felt, and like I said, he was completely mortified that I felt in such a way, and did everything in his power to show me that I could do anything I wanted to. And mind you, my best friend was in a similar state as I was, but he was such that he got to do more with his life than I ever have got to. So I was very inspired and motivated by his journey so far. And so with that, he just over the next several years, he just kept pouring all this love into me and showing me how great I was and how worthy I was of greatness. And so 5 years passed. We're now around 2011, and at this point, my parents are the only people that has ever taken care of me, a mom in their life, up into this actually very day. But in 2011, my world became pretty dark for a time. So my dad was involved in a horse accident up in the mountains where he sustained a traumatic brain injury, broken ribs, and severe bruising on one side of his body. And so with that, of course, that took my mom to go and tend to his needs in the hospital. And where did that lead me? Like, again, I had no support system other than my parents. So the responsibility turned to my grandma, who was at the time in her 80s. And because my physical condition is so overwhelming and demanding, she had to call in family from states away to help manage the situation. Well, so when all the forces got together, I realized throughout the course of the several weeks that my parents were away from me that I was desperately unhappy, that things needed to change. So I remember calling my mom at the hospital saying, "Mom, I realized for all of this that there needs to be a radical shift in my life, and I need to get out of here. I need more stability. I need people, I need a network, a team of people to take care of me. I can no longer rely on both of you because you're both getting older." And so she agreed, and she saw my pain, and she said, "Honey, let's wait until we get your dad out of this situation." So about a month later, she got to bring my dad home, and that was a great experience, obviously, because I had gotten to see them. Me and my family had traveled there to see them a few times during this whole process, so I had gotten to see my parents, but it was not like having them with me every day. And so when my dad got home, he still required some care and some monitoring by my mom and by his rehab team here locally. And so the saga still continued, but once my dad's head cleared up mentally and everything started to really settle back down, I went to my parents again and I said, "Hey, like, I'm still unhappy, like, we still need to change something." Of course, my parents are very independent, self-motivating people, so they're not ones to ask for help or seek help or anything. And they're like, "Well, at this point, you're allowed to go and do whatever you think is necessary." But I didn't know where to start. So my best friend suggested that I call the first place he could think of, and that was the SSI office. And I'll never forget the absolute horror that went through my body as I'm basically hyperventilating on the phone to the agent about my situation and all my details. It was such a horrific experience because up until this point, I had never talked to anyone besides close family and friends on the phone. And so I was like, wow, like every single day met me with a new challenge that was almost like the most challenging thing I could have ever been asked to do. And so my mom actually saw the kind of a situation that I was going through emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And so she asked, she told me to ask my counselor, who was working with me on a separate issue, if she would help me navigate this new chapter in my life. And obviously she was more than happy to. And we started looking at all of the baggages, wounds, and traumas around like things like abandonment, things about healthy boundaries, things about money, things about all sorts of things that I had never considered before. And so as we're walking through that process, the first part of my journey was very hard, but I refused to project any of my pain onto anyone else or ask anyone to take that on for me. So I just walked through the hard days, and there were many days where I felt completely depleted. But as I'm going to counseling, I'm also seeking resources to help me become independent. And to my surprise, the kind of life that I wanted to live and still want to live to this very moment, very independent, very much making my own money, very much doing my own thing. You know, that's a hard road to navigate in the disability world. But as I began to heal, then I began to desire to make make my own money and do my own thing. And so with that, I found it within myself to become a virtual assistant. And I had never heard of a virtual assistant before. My now business partner is pretty much the first person who suggested it to me back in 2011, 2012, in that area. And so I just started working and then working on myself, going to counseling, doing all these things. Well, my time as a virtual assistant was a great learning experience because it taught me so much about myself and the world around me and about business and money and people and all these other things. So I slowly started to climb myself out of the mental and emotional hole. And I mean slowly, because it was a very, very deep, dark hole to find myself in. But every day I took radical responsibility of myself, and I did it. I achieved it. I succeeded. And so with that was pretty exciting to me. And so as I'm going through this virtual assistant journey, I'm also still, receiving counseling and doing that whole bit. Well, and the disability system was still not very accommodating to the kind of life I wanted to live. Like, they have their own rules, and I was like the unicorn in a pen of zebras. Like, they didn't know how to handle me. They didn't know how to deal with me wanting my own credit card, because without my own credit card and my own credit, I couldn't get an apartment. And then housing was a problem. And so I went through this whole thing about becoming independent. Well, fast forward all the way to the pandemic of 2020, and of course, that's when so many people's lives fell apart for numerous amount of reasons. But what was really surprising about it is the disability system wanted to have me continue looking for a job despite more than half of the country out of work. And so that's when I pulled back and I decided to again carve my own path, be my own person, and shine my light in the way I knew God wanted me to do so. And so that brought me to a time where I knew I was stuck. So I did some more deep dive on personal development. And if you know me, you know that whole journey. It's not sponsored by these people, so I won't include them in this video, but it really helped me see where I was supposed to go next. So with that new layer of personal development, I was able to create my own affirmation cards, create my own create my own poetry books, create this podcast and 2 other podcasts. So that's where it brings me to today. And I just wanted to tell a little bit of my story. I'm sure throughout this podcasting journey, you all will hear more of my story. But for right now, I just want to welcome you all to the Hope, Hugs, and Happiness podcast. And I hope you enjoy the entrepreneurs that I feature here and interview every week. Don't forget to enjoy the new episode every week on Sunday, and it will be launched on all of my platforms, and I'll have all the links down below in this video. But I wanted to say welcome and thank you for being here. And if you like this content and you think it's valuable, please feel free to comment below or share this on your pages or with your family and friends, because I really want to have this be a heart-centered look at entrepreneurship and all of the beautiful, incredible people that are not only creating but doing big things and doing it with a heart full of love, not only for their family and friends, but all of humanity. And I think now more than ever before, that's where we should all be headed. So with that, I would like to welcome you. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you continue watching the episodes of the Hope, Hugs, and Happiness podcast. And I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.